good evening, and thank you very much for joining us on Thursday Chat with Pilato. And like I said last week, we continue discussing the music industry in Zambia. And this evening, I'm joined by the legend, James Chamanyazi. Big man, how are you? Hello. Hello. Ah. Hello. 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 Mr. Chamanyazi. You. Okay, so as we are waiting for Mr. Chamanyazi to join us, I'm sure he's having challenges with the network. Okay, I think he's here. Big microphone in mute. You can unmute the microphone. You. Okay. So as we're waiting for him to join us, we want to continue discussing the music industry in Zambia. So the idea and the issue is that Zambian music industry, like any other creative industry, is an informal sector. It's an informal industry. What that means is that anything that happens in the music industry, like Mark II put it, it's like black market. Niku black market, in street vending. So how do we as citizens, how do we as artists create this sector that is generating so much income in other countries?
Hello.
How do we formalize it? Big.
Big.
Thank you very much. So, Big, so let's get into the program, into the discussion without wasting much of the time.
Okay.
Tell us how it was like making music in the 90s. We want to, for those of our viewers that may not know you now or not know how much you've contributed to the music industry, tell us how it was producing music in the 1990s for this country.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I entered the music scene sometime in 1994, and that time, I can say it was serious heck to put up an album together. So what we used to do is we had some studio in town where we would go and make some instrumentals. So after you program your instrumentals and add live instruments, you bounce the instrumentals onto a metal tape. So we used to buy some tapes, some metal tapes, and then you make that your master for the audio. When you've mastered it, you take the instrumentals, you look for a studio, either DB Studios. On my case, I went to ZNBC. I connived with Nkwete Tembwe and the late Placida Simpson that they gave me studio time at ZNBC on a weekend. So we went to do the voices.
Yo, I think his network is terrible. Network now, let's wait for him to bounce back. I know it's going to bounce back. He's gonna bounce back. Yes.
Can you hear me?
We lost you, Palanish Maria, ZNBC, when you used to go to ZNBC.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
The line is breaking.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Okay, I think we've lost him. Mr. Chamanyazi. Yo. What's up? Network here not sure. What's Yes, so our topic of discussion is what should be done for the music industry in Zambia or for the creative industry in Zambia for it to be recognized as a formal sector. And what that means also is that
I can hear you now.
I can hear you also. So you can continue, Mr. Chamanyazi.
Okay. Yeah. So went to ZNBC. So it was so hectic because we couldn't record music in one studio. You had to move. So
Mm.
after I did my vocals at ZNBC to Real, then from Real to ZNBC, I had to remaster again onto a metal tape, which now became my master, which I use now to take to the printing plant to print my cassettes. And then also the selling system, you had to move with your cassettes in your bag, move around town distributing to people at town center, in shops. Others were running away with the money. Others, it was so hectic because everything, like, I, you being an artist, you have to be your own manager, you have to be your own music distributor, you have to be your own music marketer, you have to be the artist, you have to be the stage manager. So it was really hectic. I really I'm happy that things have improved, though not so much, because I still feel we are still doing our Zambian music like we are in the 60s or in the early 80s, not even the 90s. So there's still a lot of work to be done.
When you were doing music, some of us looked at the industry then as looked at you people
Hello?
that were doing music. During that time, we looked at you as successful Zambian musicians. Uh, what do you think made the industry appear to be that successful, or that made you appear successful in the music industry? Like, because the problem that you've mentioned for us did not appear, did not, we could not see that. What factors, what do you think was in place that made the industry, that made you people that produced music in that time successful?
I think what made us successful was, one, I think we had one media outlet, that is ZNBC. So it used to be easy for you, if your music plays on ZNBC, it meant the whole Zambia listening. And then also, we came on the scene at a time when people were so hungry of Zambian music, because the time we came on the scene, the music scene was dominated by foreign music, particularly Congolese, American, and South African music. So when people started listening to local people doing it at almost the standard of the international artist, people responded very well, and they gave us the impetus and also the encouragement to want to do more. And also it helped us to convince the promoters that time that Zambian music has got a market and people are enjoying it. So they had no choice but to start engaging us. Even when they bring in foreign artists, they had to make sure that there was a local act. But it wasn't easy, because it took, again, a lot of fights between us, the local media, and the local promoters, because they were paying foreigners good manners, but they are trying to help us to get the exposure. So the exposure issue, I've seen it's still even happening even today. It hasn't started now. It's been there since time immemorial, and I'm hoping we can find a better way of removing it, and then also leveling the playing grounds for the local artist when it comes to international performances.
So being an artist from the network is misbehaving. The network is misbehaving. So what we're gonna do is, I'm inviting comments and contributions from you, our viewers. If you have a thought or an idea of how we can reactivate the music industry, or how we can formalize the music industry, how we can claim dignity for the artists, practitioners, producers, administrators of art in the country. How do we strategize? How do we strengthen this industry? How do we build the industry? How do we make sure that it's profitable? How do we make okay, so welcome back. Hey, big too much to continue. I can see you, I can hear you. I can. So you were talking about how the foreign artists are given respect, given more money at the expense of local artists. Hello?
Hello. Yes, now I can hear you.
Yes, I was saying you were responding. You were in your response. You were talking about how the idea of paying foreign artists more money and giving them. Oh, this network is not going to help us. Hello, 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 hello. So, if you're watching us, please share your thoughts on how you think Zambian music can be better. Okay, so yeah, I think this one looks better. Yes, Mr. Chamanyazi, you were talking about how foreign artists were given more money and treated better than local artists.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Yes, I was saying.
Yeah, you were saying.
In your response, you were talking about how foreign artists were given lots of monies and treated better compared to local artists, and the question was.
I think this.
Yeah, you can continue. I think.
Yeah, I think that this has been a trend with most of our local promoters, and this is why we cannot have local musicians even touring or finding shows abroad, because I think, to start with, our local promoters, even if, for me personally, I usually tell people, I don't even know of any promoter, a person I can call a promoter on in Zambia today, because most of the people that come into this industry, they always want to come and abuse the artist, especially the local artist, because they're only interested in the foreign artist, or making money out of the local artist, and then after they've abused the local artist, they dump him, and then they.
Yo. Internet. So if you're watching us, please feel free to share your thoughts. We're talking about Zambian music.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so when we started, so we made sure that whenever there was an international act, we had to gang up ourselves, and that was one of the reasons why we formed the movie Parsi. The idea of forming a Parsi was putting our strength together as local artists. That's why we had the movie pass, and we teamed up such that we can make up an act which can equal any international act that would come into the country that time. And after that, we started fighting with the local promoters to make sure that whenever they bring in an international act, there is also space for a local act, not as a curtain raiser, but as a main act. And this is how come we managed to share stage with most of the international artists that were coming into the country that time. And then we managed at the same time to, at some point, we were even better performers than the international act, such that the local audience ended up beginning to like local acts at the international artists. And then local promoters were forced to start promoting big shows of local acts, and that's how come I think we managed to be where we are today.
So, coming from that era and where you are now, because you're still producing music, you're still making music, how does it, what is it like producing music now compared to where we are coming from? If you look at how music is being produced now, if you look at the environment now, do you think uh, we are doing better? Do you think we are improving? Do you think we are in a better place now?
I think we're in a better place now. The major things that are killing the local music industry or making it incomplete, for me, I feel it's we need good policies that can complete us being called an industry. Right now, I can safely say we are like a table which is supposed to have 4 legs, but this table only has 2 legs. The other 2 legs are not there. So you cannot expect a table which is in balance to actually sit upright. So what we need is we need political will. We need the government to give us good policies that will protect us, and our rights are protected the way the rights of every artist internationally are protected. Then also we need the corporate to also invest seriously into the music industry, not where whenever a corporate wants to work with a local artist, it's like they are doing you a favor. You find in Zambia, even a bank can become a music promoter and even start giving conditions to musicians when they are not supposed to. Everywhere in the world, a person who is supposed to organize a music concert, fine, they can sponsor, but they are not supposed to be the main organizers, the main promoters of an artistic event. So that is very absurd, and my heart is always bleeding because we seem to tolerate these things, and it's always getting out. It's seriously getting out of hand right now. Where now, as artists, we have no say. We don't even have music promoters that can protect our interest or give us a backing in terms of negotiations, so that we are paid handsomely, and so that we are able to even give them a good show that will make them even forget about bringing in an international act. I don't see any local act failing to perform, provided we are given an equal ground to perform. But usually you find 10 pin kwacha, and then an international act is paid 500,000. The gaps are so different, and then they expect the local act to perform to the standard of an international act, yet they are paying.
Wow. I do hope that Mr. Chamanyazi you come back as quickly as possible. I think those sentiments valid, and I would like to hear more from you on that subject. I think he's here. Sorry, I think we lost you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So not until the ground is leveled, we will be able to say Zambian music is improving. Zambian music is going places. We need all the players in the game. We need the promoters. We need the corporate. We need the government. We need the laws that will protect us and make us become people. Until such a time, I think for me, that's when I'll say Zambian music is going places. But as at now, I think a few things back in the days were even much better than what we are seeing today. And then also we need to make our arts association become a professional body. It is a club at the moment where every Jim and Jack can jump on the wagon and do what they feel like doing and dent the name and the image of a few serious musicians. So we need to make sure that we have a professional musicians body that is going to protect the music industry and the artists in Zambia.
So you mentioned the government creating policies, laws that protect the arts and the works of art. What would you say the government is missing or losing by not creating those policies?
Hello?
Why would you? Hello, hello.
Hello, I can hardly hear you.
I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you. I can
Okay,
hear you.
I didn't get your question.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, what would you say the government is losing out by not creating those policies that you feel should be formulated? What do you think? What do you say to government? Why do you think? Uh, Let me ask this question again. What do you think government will be losing out if they don't protect the artist and the works of art? Internet ya kwa Zambia. Internet. So, Zambia, we're discussing Zambian music, and we would like to hear from you. We would like to hear from you.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I
So
couldn't get.
I was saying, what would you say the government is losing out if they don't create those policies that you are mentioned, that if they don't create policies, or if they don't protect the musician, the artist, and the artistic work, what would you say the government is losing out on?
I think the government is losing out, and then for me, how I wish I was I was the president of Zambia, because
Mm.
I mean investing in the arts and making the art industry viable is one of the best and the easiest way the government can create employment, because once the music industry is viable, it means accountants are going to be employed by different artists. They will employ marketers to market the artist. A lot of people, sound engineers, electricians, and all those people. So once the music industry becomes viable, a lot of people are even going to find employment, one. And then two, music internationally is a big money spinner. So you invest good policies into the music industry, you find that Zambian music is going to be contributing positively, even above 10% of the national GDP. But we need to sit and plan nicely. We need to make sure that we put these policies that are protecting the local music industry. Right now, radio stations and TV stations they are able to buy content from our friends in the film industry, but they cannot buy content from us musicians, because they feel they are doing us a favor by playing us on their community radio stations, which does not make sense, because we provide them with content. They have all that listenership because of our music. They need to be paying us the royalties. We are not asking. This is our right. We demand that we are given this right, as in yesterday. But because of the weaknesses of the Zambian laws on the arts, these people are getting away with all these things without looking at us. And then there are the same people again who are in the forth. I mean, they're in the wrong, in the forefront of publishing bad stories about local musicians not being serious, local musicians not making money. Yet the people that are contributing to us musicians not to make that money are themselves. They're supposed to be buying music, because what I can say is
Yo, internet waniregereja. Internet is not doing us any favor. Okay, so if you, I can see your comments. Patrick Banda, I've seen your comments. James Luchembe, I've seen your comments. Mount Dew, Invent, I've seen your comments. Uh, Richard, yes, Mr. Chamanyazi, I can see you. I can see you.
hello.
I can see you and ready to hear from you.
Okay, yes. I remember back in the days, I think in the early 90s and in the 80s, though I was very young, but I remember when I used to mingle with some musicians those days, where ZNBC used to set up, actually the government used to give ZNBC money to buy music for the radio station to play. But what has happened today? I mean, this law has been there time immemorial. Today, ZNBC library is not stocked with any music. You go to these other community radio stations, the only music that they have is given to them free of charge, when they're supposed to pay for that music, because we are providing content for them to run their radio stations. People listen to those radio stations because of music. So music is content. But in Zambia, we look at music to be a favor. Somebody plays your song and you're smiling like they are doing you a favor. We are not supposed to look at life from that point. We, as musicians, it's about time we stood up and demanded our rights the way they are supposed to be. We should stop always begging people, because we are not supposed to beg anybody.
Internet wandiregereja. Yes, so internet seems to be our biggest enemy, and I'm trying to see if we can get Mr. Chamanyazi back online. But if you're joining us just now, the discussion is on Zambian music. How do we strengthen? How do we build the industry? How do we formalize the industry? How do we make music a formal economic activity? How do we improve the industry? How do we make sure that those that produce art in Zambia, those that produce music in Zambia, uh, receive their respect, receive their chizungu cha sira, but vamenevu. How do we make sure that art is respected? How do we make sure that art is rewarded? How do we make sure that art is a formal economic activity? Mr. Chamanyazi, I think
Hello?
let me get to the questions from our viewers. so then we can respond to them looking at time. So this one is coming from King Wesley Seleji. King Wesley says, what is the industry doing to promote us the upcoming
Hello? It's the line is breaking.
Okay, I'm reading a question from King Wesley's. King Wesley is asking, what is the industry doing to promote us the upcoming, because our songs end up in our phones while big artists don't even help us at all. King Wesley is asking, what is the industry doing to promote us the upcoming, because our songs just end up in our phones while big artists don't help us at all. We've lost Mr. Chamanyazi. Oh, the internet is a problem, eh? I wish we could call out the internet provider there. Otherwise, it's event. Yeah, so I can see your comments. Those that have the solution, those that have ideas. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the link in the comment section and allow you to contribute, you the viewers to contribute your thoughts. So check in the comment section. I have posted the link. If you want to be part of the conversation, click on the link and be part of the conversation. We want to hear what you think is the solution to the problem.
I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you clear and loud.
Okay. I missed the question.
So let me get to what the gentleman had asked. So
Okay.
King Wesley said, what is the industry doing to promote us the upcoming, because our songs just end up in our phones while big artists don't even help us at all? I'm going to read another one.
Okay.
This one is coming from Patrick Banda. He says, it's not fair for Zambian artists. It pains me a lot. I'm about to enter the music scene. If nothing is done now, then it means I'll also be affected by it when I'm in. These foreign artists, where they come from, can't get foreign artists to perform in their countries. But why do we go there? Where do we go then? Probably you might want to respond to those.
Okay. Yeah. The first one is this is why we are calling for good policies, so that the ground is leveled, the playing field is leveled for all the artists, either upcoming or budding artists or old artists. We need to have a system. Most of our radio stations, I would say, the DJs play music from their bags instead of playing music from the library. These radio stations need to have a librarian, need to have a system that will make sure that all the music that the radio stations receives gets the fair airplay. And then also the issue of I think the radio stations not giving level playing field to local music, because most of the times they are playing foreign music. This is one other thing that is killing the industry. And then as for the foreign artists, I think the foreign artists are hired. So I cannot really blame the foreign artists. The people I blame are the local artists, people like Zambia Association of Musicians and National Arts Council. These are the people that are supposed to protect this industry and make sure that the local artists are benefiting, and make sure that the local artists are given a level ground with the foreign artist. You know, we've had situations where a foreign act comes into the country to perform, and he orders local musicians not to mingle with him. Who is he supposed to mingle with? If anything, if anything, when you go to a foreign country, the first thing you have to do is ask them, where can I find my fellow artists, so that you can be speaking the same language, share ideas, and find ways of improving the industry. Right now, almost every Zambian musicians want to do collaborations. How do they make those contacts. They can only make those contacts when we give them the chance to mingle with the foreign acts that are coming in, who are in the who do the same kind of music that they do. You see, so we have a situation where music promoters, we have situations where even the media sometimes want to be celebrities, want to be artists themselves. So instead of them promoting the artists, they take him on as a competition. But we shouldn't be fighting for this fame. We've got different roles to play. The media is very important. The artist is very important. The promoter is very important. But there should not be a time where a local promoter looks down upon a local act, because the only thing that I think we perform, music is the same. The only difference is they come from an industry which is very well protected. I can give you an example. Before I came to Zambia in 1994, I was in school in Zimbabwe. And whilst I was schooling, I went round to some studios. I went round to meet up with a lot of Zimbabwean promoters. The moment any promoter I met that time heard that I was a Zambian, they never looked back at me again. The only thing they would tell me is, my friend, why are you running away from your country? Go back to your country where they will understand you, they will understand your language and your music. Go and make it there. You are not supposed to come here. Here we are not here to promote foreign artists. And then even when you go to Zimbabwe today, your passport has got there's that part where they write profession. You've written it's either journalist or musician. You are made to sign a declaration form which says, when I'm in Zimbabwe, I'm not going to perform or earn out of my profession whilst in Zimbabwe. If I do so, I'm ready to be deported and I'll never be allowed to enter Zimbabwe. Why do Zimbabweans do that? They are protecting their local music industry. Here in Zambia, we allow every Jim and Jack. Right now, we have foreigners who are performing in churches. Every Sunday, they are performing in these churches. They are getting paid. Our local musicians cannot perform anywhere. These are spaces that we are supposed to occupy as local musicians so that we can earn a living out of our talents. You can't go to Congo and start performing anyhow. You'll be deported right there and then. You can't go to Tanzania, can't go to Kenya. Any country in the world has protected its music industry. They've protected their arts industry. But in Zambia, we are more receptive of foreign things at the expense of our own. And at the same time, people are expecting Zambian artists to improve, Zambian artists to perform at the same level as the international act when the level playing field, when the playing field is not leveled up. It's not possible.
Do you think Zambian musicians are, because I want to get the government's interest, I want us to put to make the government feel to understand the laws. Do you feel there is enough Zambian musicians that are willing to be taxed for their income? Because if government cannot understand how much money they are losing, they won't be interested. But would you think there are enough musicians in Zambia that are saying that the 60,000 kwacha I make every month or every week for my performances, I'm willing to pay this amount of money as taxes or 16% tax. So government must protect my work. The government must protect my industry. Do you think we have enough musicians that are ready to make that commitment, to say I'm ready to be taxed as long as...
I can safely say yes. I remember, I don't know why National Arts Council and ZRA have stopped doing that. In the past, they used to even come to the shows and collect money at the gates. And that's how National Arts Council used to do it. And those are some of the reasons why we were forced to open up, to register our companies with PACRA, and then also make sure that we are in good books with ZRA in terms of paying taxes. So I don't think that can be a scapegoat, because since time immemorial, most of us have, we still up to today pay our taxes. We contribute to the government GDP in a small way. But I feel if government was to put up good policies, they would even collect more money from the entertainment industry than what they are collecting now. But the problem is the politicians only think of us as being a very important industry or sector of the arts when they are campaigning. They want to lure people to vote for them. That's when they'll come to us. It hurts me, Pilato, where even some of our friends, fellow musicians, have been to parliament, and they went into that parliament without even lobbying for any policy or any law that can improve the industry. Even the MPs that are there, they're supposed to make sure that they give us the good policies because music is so influential. Most of their kids want to become celebrities. They want to become famous. But how are they going to get that? How are they going to allow their kids to join the music industry if they are not leveling the playing field for us to, I mean, for us local artists, so that even when their kids say, Dad, I want to become a musician, they'll support that because they know this is a viable industry, just like agriculture, that just like mining. Because that's me, I feel we can even bring in more income than these other than agriculture, than maybe agriculture, maybe, but not mining. We can do that if we are given a level playing field to 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 perform. But these things are never are always denied. The people are happy to see us dance for them when it's time for their campaigns. Once they enter into those offices, they think we are there to just lobby for 1,500 pocket money, talk time money. No, me personally, what I would want to see from any government that is in Africa today is to give us the policies that will improve or make sure that this industry becomes a professional body where every person who is in this industry is earning a decent or good living out of being an artist. We shouldn't be begging. We are not second class citizens. We deserve the same rights that people in agriculture, we deserve the same rights that people are in mining and any other part of the industry. Privileges that they, I mean, what privileges they are getting today. But every time people look at us as second class citizens, we should always be getting crumbs which they've thrown from their dining table. We are just down like we are cats, surviving on the crumbs that they are throwing on the floor. That's not how it should be. We need to be looked at as professionals, and these are some of the things that some of us have been crying for from the time we entered into this industry. And I'm not doing it for myself. I think the reason why I'm doing it is I want, if my son tomorrow was to say, Dad, I want to join you in the art industry, I should be able to welcome him because I know he's going to earn a living. But right now we are I don't know. We just find ourselves there. I don't even know how we are surviving because the situation is so tough and rough. And musicians are busy pretending like they are making it. Maybe one or two, but the majority are not making it. It's just a face saver that they want to pretend like they're making money out of this industry. Because once we just put things in place, that's when everybody is going to see that there is music in money. I mean, there's money in music, and not these jokes of money that people are making today. We can make real money provided the government and gives us good policies. We have good professional bodies that are speaking on our behalf and protecting our rights. Those are things that we need at the moment.
Uh, I heard you mention ZRA. I want to understand also, do you have an artist who is registered with NAPSA? an artist who is registered with NEMA, an artist who is registered with workers' compensation, that not as any other thing, but as an artist?
At the moment, I don't think so. Though the laws, some of the laws like the NAPSA Act and all those other acts, since we are in employment and we call ourselves professionals, we are supposed to affiliate to all those institutions and start making our contributions. But because even NAPSA or Workmen's Compensation Board don't consider us to be professionals. So they've never approached us to even sell themselves to us. And this is why I'm saying we need policies and we need these corporate institutions to look at us from a professional point and start paying us and approaching us at a professional level. And at the same time, this is why I'm calling for a professional body, a union, a true union, not an association, which can approach these bodies and tell them we need ABCD, but for you to claim from us, make sure that you help us lobby to get these policies right for ourselves. Because we have hotels in Zambia which are 3, 4, 5 star hotels. What I understand about hotels and their stars is it also goes with the type of service they provide. There are certain hotels stars which require that at that hotel there should be a band performing every night for the clients that book into those hotels. In Zambia, hotels are dead quiet, and nobody can even ask the hotels to employ musicians or to contract musicians to be entertaining in those places. We have, I think, a serious mushroom of hotels, lodges, and all those places. Those are all places of work for an artist. We have the government, which holds meetings almost every day. I was in Senegal some time back, where I was surprised to hear there is a policy in Senegal which states that any meeting, any government meeting with 10 or more people cannot start without an artistic performance. And I was surprised we were kept for a good 30 minutes, delayed to start the meeting for a good 30 minutes because the entertainer was late. The moment the entertainer came in, he recited some poem for about 3 minutes. He finished, then everybody said, no, the meeting can start. Our guest has officiated that we get started with the meeting. So these are some of the policies that can help this industry stand. And these are some of the policies that can help the government collect more revenue from the artist. But every time we try to even ourselves as artists, most of the times we don't look at it from a business point of view, from a serious point of view. We always want to be entertainers at every time, even when you're supposed to be discussing the business. You want people to look at you as an entertainer. There's time that I should be the artist. There's time that I should be in management and looking at my earnings. There's time that I need to make sure that my rights are protected. You know, it hurts. We as artists, we are so active in fighting for rights for other people. We are active in fighting for children's rights. We fight for women's rights. We fight for anything. We do campaigns for most of the campaigns that really help this nation. But we are never there for our own issues. Even when we call for a meeting today to say musicians and we are supposed to discuss something, you find there's only going to, if you have 10 people, you're lucky. Everybody will be busy for their own real serious business, but they want to start earning and living a good life out of that same profession that they cannot even sit and lobby for good policies for themselves. So us as musicians, we are also to blame. The government and the corporate world, they also need to come in and look at us from a professional point and not from a beggar's point of view. No.
So James Luchembe says, to sustain music, artists must be given a free thought to sing out their hearts and with regards to reality occurrences in society. Policies must set specifically to protect musicians like Pilato. Endangered species. Who educates the masses about realities that concern society? Music must be educative, not insultative. Music is life and forever truth. Let me see if I can
For
bring.
for that one, personally, I think creativity should not be limited. We
Mm,
should be allowed as artists to to talk about anything and everything. But
mm,
usually it's not good to influence the community with bad things. So
mm.
we also need to be our own brother's keeper by sometimes even advising one another to say, let's make sure that we do music that is going to build, we do music that is going to unite the nation, we do music that is going. But again, uh, for me, I don't really blame the artists. The
Mm,
people in Zambia are the ones that make the artist compose that kind of music because they always respond to that.
mm.
So they, even if they want to blame the artist is looking for a market. Where
Yes.
can I make it quick? So if they've seen that, if they've seen that people are responding when you sing useless things, and then there are good artists that are singing developmental things and they cannot get even a single airplay, you know,
Mm,
so it's the market which is influencing that. So the same people that are saying Zambian artists are singing vulgar music, they should stop listening, they should stop uploading to that music. They should now try to change their mindset to promote developmental music, which they are always talking about. But it's funny today that an artist will release a good developmental song which will never play anywhere. But somebody sings about any useless topic, everybody will be talking about it either in a good way or a bad way. And in showbiz, good or bad publicity is publicity. So the artists are getting away with it because the market, the Zambian market, is allowing it to go on. So let the Zambian people stop buying, stop liking that kind of music. Then we'll be making a headway in terms of doing developmental music every time.
Trust Mufune says, I think the issue of international exposure is about how serious you are as musicians. Most Zambian musicians do not work hard. They have shortcuts such as using computers instead of live music, and choreography is usually poor. Check the Congolese. Internationally, people want live music. Compare yourselves to Zaiko Langalanga or Kofi Olomide. Computer music does not last, and it is also monotonous. Movie pose and New Age tried. I don't know what your comment.
it's it's good that he, at the end of it all, he has accepted that we, us as movie passe, we really meant business when it comes to performances.
Yeah.
And we should not blame, like I'm saying, we should not blame the musicians. We need to blame the system. The system in Zambia entails that if you have a big band, you are going to walk away with nothing. And at the end of the day, they will be laughing at you. Look at Chamanyazi, Akwera Bass, but he's a big artist. Because you have a big band. You know, my band has got close to 20 people as band members and roadies. So if I'm going to do a show which is paying me 2,000 kwacha, how do you expect me to pay all these guys handsomely so that they can be able to pay school fees, rentals, buy food for their families? So
Mm,
these are some of the things. He's talking about Congo. Congo, the industry is paying well. They don't play when it comes to payments. Recently, there was a Congolese guy who was chartered the plane to come and perform in Zambia with his entourage. That's how expensive music is. But in Zambia, people think music is a simple thing. They'll come to you and tell you, Why do you want us to pay you those kind of monies when you're just singing one song? For me to put up one song, I need to go into a rehearsal. I need to move equipment from point A to point B. I need to move people from their homes, and they need to earn from that performance. So all those things should be considered. All those things should come into perspective when you want to hire me. Not where you come to me and say, no, we just want you to come and make an appearance of one song. So we just have the 5 pin. Honestly, 5 pin is not even enough to make me prepare for that show, because I need to make sure I dress up for that show. I need to make sure if I'm coming with my band guys, they're all dressed up. We have our own transport to and from the venue. Before we even talk about, paying the guys. So when people are saying Zambian musicians are not serious, I always feel sorry for them, because it's not the Zambian musicians. We need to give the Zambian musicians good policies, a level playing field, and then also the corporate world need to start investing into the music industry, because they'll be getting their profits right there and then. It's not like they're doing us a favor. This is our right. This is the right everywhere in the world that you get. It feels we shouldn't be surprised when we go abroad. We see certain things happening. Like I when I went abroad the other time, I wanted to go and live with there was some function in Glasgow. I thought I was going to live with where the other youths were. So I even booked in and found myself a bed where I was going to be staying. Then the organizers came in with the Scottish Music Association to move me from the rest of the people to a 5-star hotel, because they looked at my CV. I had a bodyguard. I was moving in a limo. That kind of and then there was I think the guest artist that at that function was Phil Collins. We were sharing the same floor with Phil Collins, because of my CV and because of the kind of a person I was. This is how other people value music. But here in Zambia, you find there's a state function, musicians are told to go and stand behind. We'll call you when it's your time to go on stage. There's not even a dressing room, not even a drink is given to the artist. And the artists are even happy to be put in such conditions. So we need to change this mindset.
In conclusion, I would like to hear from you in specific terms. So when you talk about policies, that government should create these policies, are there any suggestions to what these policies should be like? Any specific policies? If you talk about associations, and is there any specific association that you would want to exist that is not existing?
What we need is a musicians. We need to form a professional musicians body first, that is going to draft and help the government with these policies. We also need to revisit most of these policies. Mind you, our sector has just been of youth sports, and where we've moved to, I don't think there are any policies per se which are protecting us in that industry. We have issues like the Copyright Act. I don't know whether it's still with the Ministry of Broadcasting, or it's moved to Ministry of Commerce, because Zamcops was moved from Ministry of Broadcasting to PACRA. It's under PACRA, which is Ministry of Trade and Commerce. So we really need to bring all these policies which are scattered in different ministries into one. And then also, personally, I feel even as artists as a whole, we don't need to have individual policies. Like we have the film policy, we have the musicians policy. I mean, the policies that people are making individually, because film cannot make it without music. Just like music needs film to do their videos right now. So what we need is We need an arts policy which is going to encompass everything. Designers, performers, everybody should come under one. We all need the same protection, because if we don't get this protection, I don't see us making it or succeeding in this industry anymore.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chamanyazi. Anything you'd want to close this discussion with?
Anything? Yeah, I can simply say thanks so much for giving me the time to express myself. And then to all my fans, they shouldn't worry that I've been too quiet. I've been too quiet, working in the background. There's quite a lot of music that I've been doing, and I'm just trying to work out modalities of how I can put that music out to them, but in a way that I'll be benefiting something, so that tomorrow they don't laugh at me that I'm a famous musician, but I cannot afford to even buy a spatial so that I can be moving myself from point A to point B. So once all those things are in place, there's a lot of good music that I've been working, because people have been encouraging me every time that that I should continue, because I contribute to their happiness. I contribute to their being healthy. So if I get that kind of feedback, I don't see myself at any point trying to leave the music industry. Actually, music is my first love. Music is my first profession. I do these other businesses because of music. So music is number one. The other businesses that I do always come in as a support to my business, and then they're even succeeding because of my music. So music is my number one business. Whether we have a good industry or no good industry, I think music is my first love.
Thank you very much, boss. So first, just realized you mentioned one thing where people say you contribute to their happiness, but to a greater extent, you also contribute to the cultural identity or elements of this country. So your music, your creativity is a very big and very important part of our culture. And so most of us do music because we want to say something, uh, but we also do music because it's part of who we are. It defines our culture. It's a very big element and part of our culture. So I wanted to make sure that you also know that we appreciate your contribution to the industry. We also appreciate your contribution to this culture. So when we say we are Zambian, this is our culture. We are talking about your music. We are talking about your creativity. We are talking about your contribution to the Zambian culture. So thank you very
Oh,
much,
thank you.
Mr. Yes.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. This was Taste the Chat with Pilato, and we had Mr. James Chamanyazi, the legend, and we were discussing music and what should be done. So join us next week. Hopefully I'll be speaking to another interesting artist or administrator. Hopefully I will have managed to get a female voice, so then we can also see this issue from a different perspective. Join me next week, same time, same place. My name is